All right, boys and girls, today's project, first project of the season. As you may recall, the dinette had two poles that came up to the table. I removed the two pieces on the floor and the two pieces on the table that look like this. Just screws and a couple on the inside on both the table, on the table side and the floor side. Now, I thought about doing the video after I already started because I'm a little slow. So what I did, you can see the holes where the old ones were, right? You can see there was one in the center through that hole, but you're not going to see the bottom of the table, so I'm not worried about this so much, but I'm sure you could just throw some glue and a little bit of glue and sawdust together, fill the holes, give it a light sand, a little coat of white paint would clean it all up if you were so inclined. I, however, am not. Then what I did, I measured corner to corner, kind of got a general idea where center was. Then I measured side to side to find the exact center this way, side to side, the exact center this way, marked it. And then I went out 3.5 inches, 3.5 inches on each from that dead center part, because this is a 7-inch circle. And then I pre-drilled and then mounted these screws in that came with it. Now I'm about to do the same on the other floor or on the other end while I remembered. So yeah, let's just walk through that quickly right now. I'm going to redo. All right, getting old sucks. Okay, so again, you can see the holes where the old one was. There's some dirt here. We'll have to clean that up. There's some holes here. They're hard to see, but they're there, right? So that's where these two black things were before. They're not very noticeable even from this close, but again, I'll find some filler for the floor because it's going to be visible. Fill it up, just give it a quick touch up. Not with paint, probably with some of that furniture touch up stuff, just to clean it up. But I don't have that today, so that's not a today project. What today's project is to put this table on. And the single biggest problem we had was when the table was on, if you were sitting here, you know, depending on which way you oriented the table, you would either have it like right up against your stomach or a little too far away. Either way, it wasn't really serviceable. The train of thought with this is, I'll be able to spin it this way so that the narrower sides of the table are there. We can use it for playing cards a little more. We don't usually have people sitting on this bench over here, so it'll be easier for us. It still drops down to, bear with me. Well, it drops down to 17 inches. So as you know, the height of that landing is about 13 3/4, right? About 13 3/4 to where the table would lay when it's a bed. So that, I was hoping that it would shrink. The gas strut would go all the way down and I'd be able to put it like this, but no different than before. Pop the table off, unscrew it from the base, lay the table down, you still got the bed. So we've lost nothing, maybe just a little added step. And like the other thing I did was, obviously this distance where these were, I can still see the marks from the dirt. We're far enough this way for the traditional orientation of the table. So what I'm more concerned about is measuring from here to the edge. And that is I think what I measured, a little more. What I measured there was just over 15 inches on either side. You know, just over 15 on either side, so they're equal. And now I'm going to mark the holes and do a little pre-drill. Then I'll screw it in, and then we'll do some assembly. All right, we have it. Hopefully we'll be able to see those marks. Well, son of a... All right, so then we just do what I like to call the try it again and do it right next time dummy. So I'm just gonna put you on pause while I go do this. All right, so this is fun. I just did it again, marked it, to realize my pencil sucks. It doesn't really mark on here. Probably just a pencil to this material kind of sucks. So I could go get a black magic marker, or I can just set it up and do the pre-drills through the holes, and that's what I'm going to do. We'll do 2 just to get us started, and then we will screw those in so that the rest of it doesn't move. And this kit came with 12 lovely stainless steel screws. The use case for this is a table or a seat for a boat, so it's all stainless steel, which is always a bonus. Okay, well, good thing I can feel those holes. And if a guy could make a job harder than it needs to be, you're looking at him. You know what they say, if they don't find a handy, they should find a handsome. Wait, something like that. Alright, this is going to require 2 hands. 2 hands. Alright. Through the magic off screen, I was able to find those holes that I pre-drilled. Put the big old screws in there. So now she's not going anywhere. And she's even. And I'm just going to repeat the process for each of the others. And I shouldn't have to worry about finding the darn holes because it's not going to move. And if I hadn't moved it in the first place with the train of thought that, you know, I should get that sawdust out of there, that train has left the building. Because the amount of sawdust for this isn't worth the grief. And I've already got a friend running around in here with me. Perfect. Okay, all right. Rest of the screws. Now would be time for some Benny Hill music, I think. If I just dated myself and you don't know who Benny Hill is, you're missing out. British comedy. Pervy old man. Just up to constant shenanigans, that guy. But he had some good tunes. Alright. Alrighty. So far, if I hadn't have screwed everything up, well, I didn't really screw it up, but if I hadn't had to do everything 3 times, this would have been done in probably 10 minutes total. So, yeah, use a black magic marker to mark your spots, fine tip marker, and make sure you pre-drill. I'm just using a very small, I didn't look at the size of it, probably 1/8 bit just to get it started so I'm not tearing things apart. Went on nice and easy. Table was equal as easy. Now let's screw the base on and see what she looks like. Screws on. Right here there is a lock in the front. I don't know if you noticed that earlier. So when you get it on, okay, it doesn't unscrew unless you push that lock, which is pretty slick in my opinion. Okay, so now I just lift this up. All right, there she is. I haven't got it locked in yet, but the idea being, apologies, there's a lot of little projects on the go here. The idea being that I can also sit it this way. look at the extra space. So it's a win-win. Let's give her a try. Oh, jeez, Lord. And we'll try that again. So the good part is I can slide it out of my way, have a seat. Now when I'm sitting here, I have more room. My wife, you know how we have sides, will be on the other side the same amount of space away, right? But like I said, I can always spin it this way and have a lot more room. My wife likes to sit with her feet up in front of her, some yoga thing that she likes to do. It has nothing to do with yoga, but the idea you want the room where you're laying this way to watch TV and you still want a table. The leg room is the most important piece. I'm not kicking my leg on anything. That part's pretty slick. Now I haven't tightened this in yet, right? Could tighten it in here. But height-wise, it's the same height as it was. Is it a little more wobbly? Yes. Is it wobbly enough to make me concerned? No. Because, you know, if you got kids using it as a diving board, maybe stick with the two. But grown adults who use it for eating or playing cards and resting their arms on it like this, it's really not a big deal. So I do just have to tighten up all these little pieces to get it to stop being so free moving. There we go. But yeah, oh, and that stabilized it a lot more too. So I'm enjoying that part. And I'm going to leave it this way because I feel like this is probably how we'll use it. Honestly, 99% of the time. We got a wider table, right? Still big enough for 2 plates. You know, the fact that you're putting the weight on the sides is a lot easier than the side this way. But I mean, even the other table, I mean, if you go lean on yours with the 2, it's going to be exactly the same. So I'm quite pleased. Now it's time to check with the boss and give it the real. But I think she's going to like it. And I bought this pedestal on Amazon. Canadian, I think it was 130 bucks. I'll post the link or I'll put it in the bottom in the description. But yeah, if you found this educational, I feel sorry for you. No. If you found it educational, I really appreciate it. Like, subscribe. If it was just for this entertainment and what not to do, knock yourself out. But here we go. I'm very pleased with this. And keep an eye out for the next video. I also, when I bought this pedestal, I bought the LevelMate PRO that I'm going to be installing at some point this weekend as well. And I'm going to do a video on that. So you can be sure if it could go smoothly, it's not going to for me. But it will end up complete. Well, here comes the boss. What do you think?
Beautiful. Oh, nice.
Come check her out. This side's a little busy for you, but have a looky over here.
Well, I don't care about your side.
I know, but they're the same size.
Oh,
right?
That's great.
Right? So it's not quite, as I say, it's not quite as stable as the old other one, but it's not crazy. But this way is just epic, I think, from like sitting there watching TV or just room to spare. Okay?
Yep. That's great.
How many thumbs?
10.
10. 10 thumbs up. You heard it here first.